This is the second video blog that I am doing in response to Jennifer-Lynn's questions, and she asks a really interesting question here in regards to carbon emissions on gemstones. And let me read it to you. Proponents of renewable energy often are able to calculate the carbon footprint they have reduced. It is a way of quantifying their work. If you were to quantify your work in ethical gems, how many lives would you say your work has impacted? How much environmental damage have you prevented? Honestly, that is an incredibly difficult question to answer for the following reason. As far as I am aware, and I've done a little bit of research before this video blog online, there is no work having been done in gemstone mining in regards to the carbon footprint. As I've said in a previous video blog, coloured gemstones principally come from the hand of the artisanal miner. That is generally a very rudimentary process. It's a process which doesn't require a lot of heavy industrial work. It's profoundly labour intensive, but it's not typically going below 10 metres of land. There's not an overwhelming huge environmental impact on that level. Yes, there is deforestation, but what you don't see in gemstones that we do see, for example, in gold, is you don't see the pervasive levels of mercury usage or cyanidation. And you don't see these incredibly huge industrial mega complex gemstone mines. So it's a hard question to quantify. I mean, to give you an example of gold fields, to talk a little bit about gold, and this has a direct impact on jewellery per se. In 2009, from the Goldfields' own report, they produced 7.4 million tonnes of carbon to produce 3,892,020 ounces of gold. By my calculations, that is 1.9 kilos of carbon per troy ounce. That is a huge industrial level carbon footprint. It makes people like Goldfields and other gold mining companies, because they are not atypical at all, a massive polluter. Gemstones, on the other hand, are not a massive polluter on that level. But I think what would be a very interesting piece of research to be taken up by a trade association would be to begin to look at the carbon emissions related to gemstone production. In fact, perhaps we could be asking Gemfields, who are quite a big industrial miner in Zambia, what's your carbon footprint? We could even ask True North Gems, the rather highly controversial Canadian mining company that's operating principally in Greenland on ruby. What's your carbon footprint for moving your tons of product around the planet so you can cut and polish it and offset taxes in different jurisdictions? Those would be fantastic questions to be asking, but I think it's a highlight for all of us in the jewellery trade, and should be highlighted to consumers as well. Here are questions. What is the environmental impact, the carbon emission impact of a piece of jewellery? Brilliant questions. And I would certainly like to see Responsible Jewellery Council, I would certainly like to see the Gemological Institute of America and other responsible trade bodies looking at that particular issue, because I, for one, would be fascinated to know. So, do we know the source of our gemstones? Not always. Do we know the carbon footprint of our gemstones? Certainly not. Are ethical jewelers interested in this? Well, clearly, if Jennifer-Lynn's questions are typical, and this isn't the first time I've been asked this question, yes, they certainly are. If we want as jewelers to have a verifiable, ethically responsible product, these are the sorts of pressures we should be putting on our trade associations to come up with the answers. So this is Know Your Source, a video jewellery blog on all matters ethical, fair trade. Thank you very much.